The sun don't shine on El Despoblado, the cold side of Almanac, where temperatures here are equivalent to the Arctic on Earth. Negative 100 degrees. Not a drop of sunlight reaches here. Just star shine straight on down. Not a lot of light pollution. It's just looking up at the Milky Way galaxy above, beautiful stars in every direction, and nothing but desolation upon the horizon. Cold, hard-packed tundra, unmelted for eons, shoots off in every direction from the truck of Dorian and Bubba Crow.
The Chariot is, it's almost like a school bus on wheels, except slightly longer and wider. The tires are about twice as big and almost 3 times as wide as a normal school bus. They're all-terrain tires. They rip through the snow with ease. The scene shifts to Bubba's hands as he reaches and grips just the steering wheel as we see the night sky above. Goddamn, I'm gonna miss these stars. I hate going back. Must be important though, right? Wouldn't be calling us all the way back there. It's been a long time.
The sleek black dart follows up out the window through the frame, and the form shifts into that of a motorcycle. There's some other rider out on the road today. It's a Fox bike. It's Almanac's top motorcycles that they've got.
Somewhere between a Ducati and a Tron bike, right?
That's what I was kind of vibing, yeah. Like I'm thinking it's a little bit exaggerated length, but it's not the front tire and then the arms. It's the body of the motorcycle is elongated, and the tires are maybe a little oversized. He's bobbing across the hills, and we just see the rider. Looks like they've got like a thick coat on. I'm thinking like those Soviet Bereshka type winter coats, and it looks like they're pulling in fast on this big rig. He hits a rock and hops up out of frame, and then a second later, you see the cab of the truck depress as the vehicle lands on top. A few moments later after that, through a hatch in the back, Dorian comes down and takes a seat shotgun. Man, I still don't feel good. What the hell do you think they want?
I don't know. Let's dress up and get this over with.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta run by the penthouse. Got an outfit I gotta switch into.
Josie, you ready to meet your family?
The sound of a drum, the tiniest bongo you ever heard, is the only response from the back of the cab. We see this vehicle picking up hard-packed white and brown, kicking it up with every turn, with every rotation of the tire. And I think in this sort of long montage of it going over this desolate landscape, eventually on the horizon is the inklings of a sunrise, the permanent twilight of the Terminus. It's been a long drive for you two. By the time you make it to Trin City and the Dove Strip, by the time you got the message and got here from Claudius, it's been just under a week probably, maybe 4 days, something like that, as you come back into civilization. It's a stark contrast to what you saw on the cold side of the planet. More people here than you can spit at. The noise is almost overwhelming as you come back to civilization, driving through the streets. Also, your vehicle isn't really intended to be here. Of course, your bike, Dorian, has no problem skirting in and out of traffic, but I think Bubba gets in a few little traffic jams on the way back to the tower. Are you guys going directly to the tower to meet up with your family, or you got somewhere else to be?
We'll have our conversation on the way into town, and then I think Dorian will get on the motorcycle, and I think he wants to, drop off some of his gear, get, a change of clothes from, one of his, houses that he didn't sell off or whatever, like a penthouse that he's got. And then he'll meet back up with Bubba and Josie at this get-together.
Jethro and Keaton, both of you arrive to the John Henry building together, I imagine, right? Probably in Keaton's wheels?
Yeah.
Valet out front?
I assume so. I think that they know Keaton, he lives here. So he pulls up, hops out of his car, which I think is the equivalent of whatever Terminus has as like a Ford Mustang or a Chevy Camaro, except it's on big truck tires. Just something just a little off about it. Just tosses the keys to some guy as he goes and parks it.
Jethro, as you step out of the car, I think I would get a shot of your kind of fixed up persona, right? Like, how do you look different from how you did on Noon's side?
Just got a good shower in, and then his attire is obviously different. No more sunsuits. Same with Keaton.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've wore our civvies around, you know. If we're going in the meeting now, I had the option to get a nice suit from a luxury fashion brand, but instead I just chose to get a little bit more. I describe it as kind of like luxury tactical. Really well fitted cargo pants, designer boots, and then like a nice suit vest with maybe like a collared shirt underneath. But over that, like a jacket with like epaulets and some pockets and stuff like that.
A leather jacket or like a jacket?
No, it's just like some
jacket?
sort of cloth.
Gotcha.
How about you, Keaton?
Oh, Keaton. Oh, man. He's got a style all his own. Keaton is wearing, from bottom to top, the equivalent of Terminus Air Force Ones. They're a bright white color. Looks like they've never touched the street before today. Going up, he's got some well-fitted like gray jeans or canvas pants of some kind. You see on his right hip, even going into this meeting, he has the equivalent of like a canvas tactical fanny pack is the best way to describe it, I think, full of all kinds of tools, cables. We can see that wrist piece that he was wearing when he was hacking into the systems over on Sunside is shoved in there haphazardly. Above that, he's got a gray t-shirt on that has the industrial logo of the Crows. That's kind of a faded shirt with the sleeves ripped off. And over that, he's got this vest. The best way I can describe this vest is any generic cyberpunk jacket with the really tall, thick collar that stands up on its own. It's kind of a pale, almost off-white color with lots of red. On the right side, reading from bottom to top, it says Crow in these bright red letters. And then, of course, you got that hair and that headband. I think no matter where he goes, what he's doing, Keaton has the best hair in the room. I'm setting that as canon right now. It's just how it is.
As you ascend these slate gray steps to the John Henry building, we get a shot of Jethro as he looks up at this place he honestly never thought he'd be back at again. It's these floors stacked on each other and misaligned, like a child was stacking Tupperwares and just kind of missed the mark a little bit. And every corner that is exposed from this misalignment sprouts planters of earth plants or the purple-black, sickly-looking flora of the planet. You know, there's a few second shot of you looking up at this building as we cut to Keaton as you arrive at the door and you see Jethro still waiting at the bottom of the steps.
Yeah, he kind of waves up at him, turning in. He kind of reaches out and grabs the door, and as he does that, we can see the tattoos up and down his arms that I just remembered I haven't described. These Japanese style, really dark, mostly black and gray. It looks like a pattern of smoke that goes all the way up his pretty heavily muscled arms. And then somewhere inlaid in that smoke, there's a pair of demons coming down from his shoulder and up from his wrist. And there's just splashes of red, either flower petals or puddles of blood. It's a little hard to see, but these really bright splashes of red on there.
Jethro definitely hesitates for a moment as he's just taken in by this wave of nostalgia, seeing this building again. And he starts making his way up these slate steps. He still has his edict on him. It's in basically like a really nice briefcase, but like very elongated so it can fit basically a assault rifle, you know, maybe a little bit bigger. And he wears it on his strap to his back.
As you ascend the steps, clacking heels, you enter through the front, pull doors into this lobby. You know, if you imagine the lobby the gunfight happened in from The Matrix, you wouldn't be far off. It's a lot of polished stone everywhere, reception desk, elevators behind that. As you walk in, you can definitely tell the whole city has kind of been trashed from the storm just this last weekend. One of the worst ones the city's ever had. There's still like pockets of dust and mud in every corner. And even as you enter the lobby, you can see that the cleaning staff has done their best job, but there's still problems. And one of the front windows has been shattered and like there's been a steel plate put up and there's scrawlings in spray paint that have been scraped off by the staff. So you can't tell what was written there as you enter.
What's going on there?
I don't know, fucking the pores. Keaton just starts walking towards the elevator. I don't know, man. People get pissed off, they spray paint on shit.
One thing we just forgot, y'all. Following behind you sheepishly, a prisoner, dead to rights, not in handcuffs necessarily. Yeah, is Owen Hansen. He's kind of like a scrawny looking dude, halfway between blonde and ginger, I think. Scraggly facial hair that you can barely tell is there. Young kid, maybe 18 or 19, Owen Hansen.
Broken nose, black eye.
True. That's definitely started to come to full fruition.
Oh, yeah.
Over the days it took you to drive back down here to the Sun River. And as he follows in behind you, he's kind of sheepishly looking around this building that used to be his employer. He looks around as you guys see Jethro's father and your Uncle Keaton, Texas Crow, waiting for you in the lobby. He's a large man. He's the type of guy that could be in the WWE, easily over 6 foot, jaw built like a brick shit house, permanent 5 o'clock, dark shadow, bushy eyebrows pulled into a permanent scowl. He's got the same clothes he always wears. He's got 10 sets of them. He's got a black button up, a black tie, canvas brown pants that Kaz would definitely not call anything close to fashionable. He's got a belt buckle on as big as your fist, all gold, with 2 crow talons gripping an edict in the style of an old world revolver. And then his boots are like brown leather, but they've got this design of earth rats, which of course are present on Almanac. Humans can't go anywhere without taking rats with them. It's just a mountain of them climbing up, clutching and jumping at, trying to grab an earth bald eagle as it's trying to fly away from them. He's got his edict on the side, which we won't bother describing right now. But as you enter, there's brief eye contact with you, Jethro. A slight nod, a smile that he can't help but turn into like a disguised frown. And then he turns to Keaton as both you walk up. Standing next to him is Claudius Crow.
Well, sir, it's been a long time there, Keaton.
Keaton walks up, gives him a handshake, and then holds it for a hot second and holds just eye contact with him, and then forcibly pulls him into a hug. Hey, it's good to see you, Uncle Tex. Those boots, they're looking sharp.
Good to see you too, boy. I got 10 pairs of these, identical, actually.
Oh, I know, and I'm going to compliment them every time.
I appreciate you bringing Jethro back to me here.
It wasn't easy, but he kind of looks back towards him. He cleans up nice, don't you think?
Either way, thank you for giving him a ride.
Good to see you too, Dad.
It is good to see you, Jethro. Thank you for coming back. Listen, I know you didn't want to come back, but I appreciate that you have.
We can skip all this, Dad.
Well, I think it's important, Jethro.
Come on, man, hear him out. It's been years.
I'll hear what you have to say in the meeting.
He kind of frowns and nods.
Fair enough. Let's go see what they got for us. Wait, hold up. Who's this?
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. What's his name? Orson, what's his fucking name?
Owen.
Yeah, Owen, why don't you come on over here? Uncle Tex, I don't know if you've met this Owen character. He actually he used to work for us for a time.
Is that right?
Yeah, I caught him a red hand in making counterfeits.
Oh.
Yeah, just last week. Good ones, too. Oh, he's fucked. Oh, he's so fucked. I think you'll be familiar with him, Dad. As he reaches back and forcefully grabs him by the back of his collar and moves him into the center of this conversation, he sheepishly makes eye contact up at Claudius Crow. And Claudius, this is your partner's son, right?
Caleb, I'm not sure out of this. I'm not sure if I'm aware of that or not.
You're aware of this kid's existence only because you got him a job. You got him his internship doing the edict shit as a favor to Pearl. It's definitely blindsiding to you that he's making fake ones or that he's here. The last you heard about him was probably a year ago when you got him that internship. And as far as you know, he wasn't that involved with the process. He was like an apprentice.
Claudius looks at him now in the middle of the circle appraisingly for a beat or two. And then something seems to click in his eyes. Maybe the Rolodex flips through and he finally recognizes this kid. It has been some time since I've seen you, hasn't it, Owen?
Yeah, I didn't really want to meet under these circumstances, but yeah.
It's a pretty poor way to repay trust in a favor, but we can talk about that later.
He was definitely involved.
Oh, he was the keystone.
No doubt about it.
Software, hardware, the entire thing. The process, he was creating his own isotopes.
That's true. That's true.
It's just funny to hear that voice say isotopes.
Isotopes. What do you want?
Fucking
Doing isotopes. I've been smoking these isotopes all weekend.
Well, I guess we better put an end to it then, huh?
Oh, we put an end to it. The entire fucking town, actually, I think.
Tex reaches down to the edict on his side and pulls it out of his holster.
Claudius grabs his arm and very firmly grips it and tries to push it back in. Tex, maybe the lobby of the tower is not the right place to do this.
Or maybe it's the perfect place, Claudius. You know what this boy's done? We can't let this shit get out. And if you want to talk to him later, we can. I think it's best we end it now. Your son's positive here.
I'm not opposed to what you're about to do. I'm opposed to the location and the timing.
Well, where would you like me to do it?
Maybe not in such a public place, Tex. Maybe we can have a chat first and see.
We can have a chat after he's dead.
This place is more lawless than the inside was.
Do you know what's at stake here, Jethro?
Don't you have some sort of legal system we have to follow?
We can prove that after. This boy's dead to rights, and it's our jurisdiction to take care of the legal matters of edicts. If he was caught making counterfeits, that's worth millions of chips.
Billions.
We got the right. The Arbiter won't come after us. Cass has been doing work on that, at least.
Claudius, I guess make a persuasion roll for me, dude.
Oh, well, all right.
Jethro, are you trying to aid him in this to not get him to shoot here? Or are you just being,
If you let me, sure.
I would say make a persuasion roll, and then every success and raise could add to Claudius's here.
How's your persuasion?
It's pretty good.
Excellent. Mine is not.
Blew up a 4. Blew up
There
a
it
4.
is.
Oh, those dice
Oh,
are so
damn.
weighted.
Prodigal son.
Blew
Oh
up
my
a
god.
four.
I told you. Those are weighted. We got to give
I've
him
been
some of our
practicing.
dice.
4441. You add it up.
You add 3 to your persuasion roll, Claudius. Your goal here, I'm going to Benny. Your goal here is a 6.
I have a D10 in persuasion. I got a 1 and a 2, so I will use my charismatic edge and re-roll that because it's not a critical failure. 8 plus 3 is 11.
Perfect. So with a raise even. Not only will Tex not kill him right now, what else do you want out of this?
Money.
Let's see. Maybe I can earn a bit of favor with this Owen for not having him murdered in the middle of the lobby, and maybe he'll be a little more receptive to us talking later.
Sounds great. Yep.
Well, Tex, as always, you can do whatever it is that you want and take things into your own hands, but there may be some advantage and a deal that could be worked out. So maybe we can retire this to a conversation later.
You agree, Jethro?
Yeah.
All right, fine. Claudius, get someone from security, lock him up.
Just turn to Owen. We bought you some time. You might want to start saying your goodbyes.
Could I at least get killed by my mom's edict?
Not up to me.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think so. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe you can work a deal. Oh, we'll see.
Depends on who you give up, boy.
As security arrives, it takes a few minutes, small chat between Claudius, Keaton, and Tex without much interaction from Jethro, looking around at this immaculately clean place compared to everywhere you've been. And as security takes him away, we see walking through the front door, Dorian and Bubba Crow.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Here they are.
The main characters
The main
finally
characters.
arrived. Bubba enters the doorway, his mammoth shadow cascading into the room. Standing over 6 feet tall, his usually unkept long hair and beard is combed back in an attempt to appear formal. His dark, long-sleeved button-up groans against his husky frame. He shuffles in his black dress pants, attempting to break him in. His watch gleams like the floor in the Crow's Tower's entrance before bringing it up to his kind, brown eyes.
Sucks to be back.
From behind his large frame, and in stark contrast to his older brother Bubba, Dorian sort of takes a side step as we pass the threshold of the door. Dorian stands probably a little closer to 6 foot, 6'1". I don't know. As we take a look at his frame, you can see that he's got beautifully tailored, very intricately designed calf-length boots. They might be giving him an extra inch or two. You can't quite tell. From there, they get tucked in with some tight leather pants, fresh and clean. Maybe he just picked them up as he got into town. And then he's got a much more conservative belt on, I think, than his father's. But, still a decent-sized belt buckle. Nothing fancy on it, just good solid gold. He's got himself really nice, it almost looks like a crushed velvet red vest. At one point, I had looked up like the specific design of like the floral pattern, but it's very designed. It looks beautiful. He's got no t-shirt underneath. He decided, this was formal enough. And
so he's shirtless with a vest on?
Shirtless with a vest on. And to go on top of that, he also has another sleeveless jacket. This one looks much more handmade. This would be insane to imagine on hardly any of the other crows that we'd met to this point. It looks like maybe he made it himself. He did make it himself. From all sorts of different leathers, different tones, but he dyed it all to a similar red that he wears. It's sort of draped across his shoulders. And we go up. It looks like maybe he got a little bit of a trim. He shaved. He's got a little bit of stubble. Long, thin beard that comes down between two labrae piercings. I think they're actually called dolphin bites with the placement. Yeah, I got way into piercings for like 20 minutes. And found all the cool ones I wanted for Dorian. So these dolphin bites, if anybody's seen Disturbed, it's that guy, but they're a little bit narrower, a little higher up, and they frame this thin beard. He's got quite a thick mustache, sort of like our boy Caleb over here, actually.
Oh,
but his hair, of course, is a much darker brown, almost black. Speaking of hair, it sprouts up from the top of his head, but he's got it styled in a bit of a mohawk. Probably sticks 8 to 10 inches, and it flops pretty hard to the right side of his face. But this exposes, it looks like some dermal implants he's got over the crown of his skull. And he's 4 little LEDs that are sort of implanted with these dermal implants. And as he sort of runs his hand through his hair, you can see just one little sort of like tungsten black ear cuff.
Just to be clear, you're wearing a jacket with a vest over it?
Both sleeveless.
And are they open to where we can see your chest?
The vest is a pretty loose one. So I think it's probably like a 2 or 3 button.
Okay.
And then the jacket he's got open. Yeah. So I think, we're safe for like Twitch TOS.
Yeah.
No nipples.
But
no nipples.
Yeah.
We got plenty
no
of chest
nipples.
out.
And I guess I hadn't really thought about it. The artwork doesn't show it, but I think he's probably got some chest hair. We might have to spackle that on there, Wolf. Sorry.
We'll scribble
that on there later.
He's going to be so pissed.
You can do that yourself, Marshall. Just slap that in paint.
True. Everybody can.
Immaculate art with an MS Paint.
Bubba turns to Dorian next to him. God damn, I didn't think anything would be as uncomfortable as the tundra, but these clothes don't feel like they used to.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, listen, we'll get this done with, and we can get on out of here. Listen, we've got a couple of things we can do in town, and pick up maybe a couple more jobs, and then we'll be out of here.
Yeah, sounds good. He fixes his cufflinks before turning to him and kind of evaluating what Dorian's wearing. Next time you should probably wear some clothes, though.
Huh? What do you mean?
Shut up. Let's go.
Oh, what, this? No, listen. No. I stand by this.
No, yeah, right? You're looking good, Dorian. Don't worry about it.
Listen, we've been out in the cold for months. We can finally get the warmth.
Boys.
Oh.
This is my voice. Boys, it's good to see you. Welcome back home.
Well.
You're looking sharp, Bubba. Looking great, son.
This is Tex.
This is Tex.
Okay. Are we like a hugging family?
Yeah, I guess.
It's up to you. I just forced a hug. It doesn't have to be. I figured it would be.
Well,
against
what
the
is
grain.
Tex? Is he like a?
Is Tex a hugger? No.
Probably a side hugger.
Tex is not
if anything, a side hugger.
When you imagine someone named Tex that looks like
I guess
Tex,
you're right.
you'll understand who Tex is.
I assume it's like The Sopranos where they hug each other and just clap each other on the back really quick a couple of times.
Bubba sticks out a firm hand.
Oh yeah, he clasps it.
Good to see you, son.
It's always good to be back.
How's the cold side been treating you?
Kinda.
Cold side's been great, Dad.
Well, good to see you too, Dorian. Welcome back, son.
It's been as good as it can be, at least.
We've had a great time, actually. I think that, with Josie coming along, we've had a great time.
Yeah, Josie's been liking it. She's been liking being on the road. I'll have to bring her in. I didn't figure today would be the quite the right time to meet.
No,
I would like to see her.
Yeah. Admitting wrongs and making apologies is kind of hard.
Whenever you're comfortable, Bubba, I'd love to have the acquaintance.
And you will. Just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, your brother and cousin?
I think Jethro,
Oh, you gone already? You had the meeting?
it would have been pretty crazy for them to just glaze over me standing there, right?
Oh, yeah, but I don't think I would have said anything about Dad if Jethro...
Okay.
I think I would have wandered. Maybe I wandered off.
Sure.
And I'm kind of exploring the space, maybe checking out that graffiti section seeing
Sure.
what's going on there.
I think we cut over to Jethro, who's, like you said, examining some of this graffiti on the wall. And as you see Bubba and Dorian come in, by hearing their voices, you like turn around and you can see that Claudius is walking towards you. Make a notice roll for me, Jethro. -3, because they really tried to hide what this said.
Dang. Blowing up when I don't
Blowing
need it
up
to.
all the fucking time. Just blowing up.
-3, so that's a 5. No raise.
It says, stop playing God, start playing neighbor.
That's interesting. I think I raise an eyebrow, literally, when I see that.
And you look over, and then Claudius is walking up to you. Does Claudius look like he hasn't slept in a week? It's been about 5 days since the events of the shut-in party.
He definitely has not been sleeping well. I think in counterpoint to Tex's insistence on the same outfit all the time and general scruffiness, he's at least well put together. Like a relaxed outfit is still a 3-piece suit, but maybe linen instead and a little wrinkly, a nice bow tie, some more casual like carbon fiber shoes, hair's like still perfectly slicked back, but not dressed up quite as much. And he's walking towards Jethro with kind of a hand halfway extended as he gets closer.
Yeah, I think Jethro sees that, walks towards you, extends his own hand. You know, Keaton told me there were some issues back here, but I didn't expect this.
Well, it's been interesting since you haven't been here in a while. It is good to see you again, Jethro. I hope you know that. You're looking well put together, I would say. Well done.
Appreciate it. It's good to see you too, Uncle.
Let's have an insight roll from Jethro and a persuasion roll from Claudius.
There's no way I can beat that D10.
Let's do a little PvP here, baby.
What do you mean there's no way? That D4 is blown up.
Insight,
Like 5 times.
Seriously.
Insight is not a thing. Is it just
Spirit, I'm so sorry. Yep.
not this time?
Boy, it's a good thing all I spec'd into is persuasion. I blew up a 10.
Yeah.
An 18 total.
Well, he seems very genuine.
That works. Do I see my brothers at this point?
You see your brothers, yep.
Well, it looks like we got ourselves a little family reunion over here. Better go say hi.
That would be a good idea. Just take care of yourself, Jethro, okay? We missed you.
I'll do my best.
There is a very, genuine look in his eyes and kind of puts a hand hesitatingly on your shoulder and pats it and then kind of steps away and looks back at the others.
This is one of the first times that you see a little bit of joy enter Jethro's face. The only other time was when they blew up Mad Dog's compound.
Mad Dog?
Mad Dog's compound. Hell yeah.
That's what we were doing while you guys were having a fucking party.
Yeah, and we had a great time.
We were jousting. I mean...
Dorian and Bubba Crow from across the room.
Oh, man, I think we were right in the middle of...
Yeah, I was like, does Dorian want to say hi to Dad?
Well, I think the one line that we hear is Jethro's coming back to meet up with us at the door is, yeah, Dad, I think, it would be good for you to meet Josie. We've got a few apologies that need to be passed along the way, but I think once those things are cleared up, that's what this is about, right?
Whatever you need, Dorian.
And then he almost doesn't even hear that because he looks over. Oh, well, shit. I thought Bubba was making it up. Jethro, you made it back?
In the flesh.
Hey, it's great to see you. And he briskly closes the distance and doesn't even reach for he's coming for a hug. Squeeze you tight.
You're looking good.
Big old rub on the head.
What you been up to?
Oh, a little of this, a little of that. Bubba and I, we've been on the dark side. It's crazy over there. It's fucking cold.
Jethro! He's going to almost run over there. It's going to be a brisk approach for something so large of a man that it's going to be almost intimidating. But he's going to come and he's going to grab you and pick you up.
Oh, I miss you.
You're looking strong, Bubba.
Oh, I'm feeling strong. Oh, you look good. Field treating you good?
Yeah, got a little sun. Feeling good.
Yeah, you look good. I'm glad to have you back.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah, it's good to see you. What did they call you back for?
Oh, they didn't fucking call him back. I dragged his ass back. Keaton kind of comes walking around the corner. He's got his e-cigarette.
Me.
Yeah, he's even with this arrogant son of a bitch, Keaton. He starts shadowboxing you.
He kind of just stands there, flinching his eyes, letting it happen because he's trying to drink out of his energy drink at the same time.
Sure.
And there's just that kind of oh shit kind of reaction to him.
Hey, here. Let me help you out and I'll grab the e-cig from you so you don't drop it and I'll start ripping it a little over to the side.
He sees that and just reaches into his pocket and pulls out another one and just starts pulling off of that one as well. Get the whole fucking gang back together, huh?
Yeah, it seems that way. I don't know if now's the time to catch up.
Oh,
but...
it's not going to be good, whatever it is.
yeah, we'll have to get a drink later.
You need to get a new shirt.
What do you mean, whatever it is? Hey, don't you know? I thought you were the one who was here.
I know a little bit, but
Listen, boys, we'll get to it.
Aren't we missing somebody?
Kaz is already waiting for us upstairs, along with a few other involved parties.
A few other involved parties, huh?
You know Vivian and Ulysses Rook, yeah?
Sort of.
kind of.
Yeah, they're cybernetic geniuses, aren't they?
I hesitate to call anyone a genius, Bubba, but yeah, I suppose so.
I don't know. That Ulysses guy, he's pretty smart.
Well, we'll see about that. Let's go have a look at this meeting, all right?
No, it doesn't sound good.
Kaz's been waiting for y'all, all right? And don't disappoint him. You know, he's real excited about whatever
Jesus
meeting
Christ.
he has set up. So when we go in there, just try to act impressed. Okay?
Since when do you give a shit about what Kaz has to
I'm
think?
I'm sure I won't have to act that.
Well, a lot of things have changed in 2 years, Jethro. But I figure won't be interested in that.
Yeah,
So,
it looks that way. I gesture to the graffiti.
don't worry your mind about that. They always come out every storm. Let's go upstairs.
Bubba whispers to Keaton next to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to show you Josie later. You're gonna love her. She's huge.
Oh, I've seen the pictures. She's fucking adorable.
I don't know about Josie at all, right?
I mean, you know she exists, but no one's seen her except Dorian.
Is she two?
Yeah.
Maybe she was born like right before I left or something.
All right, the lot of you get into the Earthwood elevators and head your way on upstairs to the meeting room. Kaz, this is the most high-profile meeting you've ever had to host. How have you prepared this space?
A full board meeting of the Crow Corporation is almost unheard of, given like that it requires all of the children to be there.
Oh, does that mean my sister's there too? Just to cut you off?
You have a sister?
I have a sister, yeah.
Uh-oh.
He's the middle kid.
Well, she sent a maybe she could send a proxy.
No, fuck it. Your sister's here. I don't give a shit.
She's all you need to know about her is she's in law school.
She's in law school. Okay.
And she's playing along.
That's my girl.
You have a sister?
This is a fucking curveball.
No, that's on the fucking family tree.
It's not on the
fuckboy.
family
Listen,
tree.
Caleb,
Yeah,
you
it
just got a
is.
lot going on. You got a lot going on, Caleb. There's some curveballs coming your way. Jethro can summon angels. You
Oh,
approve?
Nice.
Okay, I see now.
Yeah.
Bella Crow. Okay.
Bella Crow.
All right. For this occasion, in which nobody is sending any proxies and it will literally be the children, he's chosen to use the formal boardroom, which is located in the absolute tip top of this building. It's inconvenient to get to because when they built it, the elevators and everything were quite designed with this in mind. So it's a little bit awkward to get there, but it is in a room with a 360 glass all around it, so you can see the entire city. You're on top of the John Henry building. The view is incredible. Kaz has taken this incredibly large conference table. He has seats set out for everybody. In the middle of the table is a map, an actual relief style map of the planet Terminus. All the Crow assets are represented on it with little gold figurines and little factories and stuff that are placed out there so that we can reference a big tactical map of the planet, all of our assets. He has a number of extra pieces in the wings waiting to be brought in. Each of the boys has their assigned seat. He of course has Tex and Claudius at the head of the boardroom. There's an army of assistants and note takers in the room. And of course, in their own chairs with Rook family crest embroidery, which was very tough to get on this timetable, are 2 chairs for Vivian and Ulysses to sit in, although their assistants are not allowed in this meeting. It's just going to have to be them, per policy.
Well, this murder of an entourage enters into the meeting room. Vivian, just to refresh our memory, what do you look like today?
Standing in front of the window wall, looking down over the city, stands Vivian. She's observing everything going on below idly as people filter in. Today she's wearing a solidly woven vest with pointy power shoulders in a dark plum. It's cut off right around her ribs, so you can see the high-waisted pants going the whole way up. It's a sort of librarian chic today. The long undershirt that billows out from beneath the vest, almost like a long skirt. It's higher in the front and more open so you can see her pants, but as it drifts around to the back, it lengthens, settling more around her mid-calves. The same fabric is almost a peasant blouse style sleeves and a popped collar flowing out from beneath her vest, and it's made out of this material that is almost ultralight. and woven with some kind of fiber optics to make it glow just ever so slightly. It's a little transparent. It's very pretty. It's ranges from golds to oranges to match Ulysses' eyes. Her hair is almost done in like a librarian-esque fashion as well, tucked up into a wispy puff of hair. Her hair wisps that hang down normally by her clavicle are bound up into almost a loop from the sides of her face, and they connect behind her neck. She has a woven fiber optic crown of laurels, the same color as her shirt, contrasting her pink cyber seams and slightly glowing eyes. And today she has those small, round sunglasses that are just several shades darker gray than clear. As the camera pulls into her face, we can see from the side that they're mainly to, block the dark circles under her eyes from the past 5 days. But as she hears the hustle and bustle coming back into the room, she does return to Ulysses' side and takes a seat next to him, waiting for whatever this shit show's gonna be.
The entourage enters from the elevator. Kaz, I think, do you usher people to your seats? Tex didn't really want you in charge of this, but I think you inferred that he wanted you in charge of this, right?
Yeah, of course. Kaz is standing at the head of the table. He is wearing a full-on business power suit, navy on white with a dark red tie. It is on the fashion side, though. It is not conservative in any way. He perhaps has some dark eyeliner on as well to give himself a more serious look. And as everybody walks in, he just stands at the head of the table along with the events coordinator. He is vibrating with excitement inside to be able to do such an important task for the family. As everybody comes in, he greets them with a smile or a nod, trying not to break composure. And then when he sees Jethro step out, he realizes they don't have a seat for Jethro. His face goes pale and he turns to the events coordinator. You fucking bitch. Why didn't you plan for this? Get him his fucking seat.
I didn't know he'd be here. I didn't know he was
Why
been gone.
didn't you know? Fix it, please, now. Put him down close. Fuck. Move the rooks. Thank you.
I can't move the rooks.
Move the rooks. I'll fucking have your family killed.
And then loudly in the background, Keaton says, Jethro, they don't have a fucking spot for you, man. Here, sit, take my spot.
No. We absolutely
and then there's a loud
have a spot.
creaking. There's a loud creak as he's pulling the chair back.
I could just stand. It's not a big deal.
We absolutely have a spot. We were just, that this was pulled together.
The events coordinator runs full steam into a glass window and then sheepishly opens it and then goes through to find a chair.
Kaz, it's fine. I will stand back here. Please, Jethro.
He pinches the bridge of his nose in between his hands. No, it's not going to be fine.
Kaz, baby.
Hey,
baby.
hey. He can't help himself but be happy. Hey, I know. Who's our general counsel? Who's the Crow family head lawyer?
Me.
Yeah.
What's
his name is Uncle Claudius.
Who's our CFO? Who's a high-ranking Crow official that's not family that would be at this table?
Jim Henson. I don't know. Give me a second.
No. Celebrity chef Bobby Flay.
Well, regardless, I think it's a brief moment of chaos, and then we have a seat for Jethro, but somebody's going to get fired.
Okay, it's a dude by the name of Bobby Bay.
Bobby Bay.
Oh, no. I love his seasoning.
Bobby Bay.
Okay. Kaz forces Bobby to give up his seat for Jethro. He's genuinely this 65-year-old man. He's one of our lead finance accounting people. Kaz is you will stand. You will stand.
Kaz, it's really not a big deal.
I can stand for him.
Just makes him stand with the assistants for a minute until another chair is brought.
I don't even want to sit. At this point.
You have to sit. Oh my God, you have to.
Kaz, is this really a sit-down meeting situation?
It absolutely
Keaton has
is
taken a seat
meeting.
and has both of his feet up on the table at this point.
It's a sit-down meeting.
Everybody take a damn seat. Enough of this.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you. Do what he says.
Wherever you're standing, sit in the seat in front of you.
No. There's cards.
Dorian sort of stiffens at his dad getting all bristly like this, and he'll throw up the hood of his sleeveless coat and sit next to Keaton.
It's
with
so
or without
nice to
the
have
name
the
tag.
family back together. This is so good.
Is one side of this room just a window looking out over the rest of the city?
It's a 360 window, and after we're all seated, like a privacy layer of glass will descend to surround just the table, so the assistants and everybody will be outside that layer of glass as well.
Jesus.
Oh, so the
Christ.
room it becomes smaller when the meeting starts.
There's
Oh,
a
I
room
love it.
inside the
Okay,
room. Yeah.
nice.
Wow.
There's a buffet table. There's everything.
It's like one of those old school stock tickers or like a pie cover, like the
Yeah,
glass
exactly.
dome.
As we all get seated, that descends. Everybody takes their seats. Kaz looks extremely stressed out.
Okay, I'm going to take control of this real quick because we got a lot to deal with. About 5, 6 days, last weekend, during Almanac 47, the largest storm that's been going around our planet for a while.
Also, the one of the best parties this house has ever hosted.
Hey, will you shut
No.
up? Will you shut up for like 2 minutes?
You saying I missed it?
I'm
Go,
sorry you
Uncle
couldn't be
Tex.
here. I
Sorry.
invited everyone.
Thank you, Keaton. Well, about 5 days ago, storm hit, shutting party here, and sister of Ulysses Rook here died on our premises. An edict blew up in her face while she was trying to use it. Turns out this was a counterfeit. Turns out someone out there in this godforsaken world has been making, and he takes a deep breath and calms himself. Literally puts a hand out, lowers it down a few inches as he takes a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Someone has been stealing our technology, our license, and using it unlawfully. They've been selling on the black market that apparently has made its way into the hands of Luella Rook. The seller of this item was her right-hand assistant, Tanya. We have her in custody. She says she bought it off a fella by the name of Doza. Keaton, I'm hoping you can help us out here. You got sort of the right kind of connections for this sort of thing.
I mean, I just took out, and he kind of gestures over towards Jethro. Just took out an operation that was making some pretty high quality knockoffs. He kind of lowers his feet to the ground and leans forward.
You said something about that. Was that in the last few days after Claudius contacted you?
No, that was before. Actually, my old man reached out to me on my way back.
Why? What investigation were you looking at?
He kind of looks over towards Claudius, kind of like, do I have permission to tell him this information?
Claudius gives sort of a half nod, but with a little bit of a hesitation that I think Keaton knows means be careful.
I got some intel that there was a guy in town who had been trying to peddle knockoffs. So I found him, followed his lead back. It led way out to Noonside, a couple of days' ride. And, lucky for me, that's where I found your son here, who just happened to be doing pretty much the same thing, trying to shut this motherfucker down. And he had a massive operation.
Keaton, I appreciate everything you've done for this family, but watch your language, please.
He kind of gives a half-hearted grin.
That means this problem is worse than I knew. I found out 5 days ago that people were producing counterfeits. If you've been following a trail for longer, I would have liked to know that. And he says that looking at Keaton, but then turns to Claudius. Well, the facts remain that Luella Rook has been killed by this false edict, and we only got 2 leads on where she bought it from. 1, man named Doza, and 2, she says that Doza got it from the Torres family. So I'm hoping, Claudius, you can go talk to her, your boys' grandmother with a little Rook pressure and find out if that's true or not. Feels like somebody just threw out a lead to throw us off our scent. I can't imagine Catalina doing something like that, or what reason she would have for that, but that's up for you 3 to figure out, I reckon. If that's okay with you Rooks.
I think Jethro just leans over to Keaton while other people are having their discussions. Owen was a former employee of the Crows, yeah? Stands to reason that whoever's doing this might also be.
Oh, yeah. No, we got them all.
You gotta get a list of everybody who currently works for or who has recently separated from the Crow business.
Did you want to say that to Room, or are you going to make me do that?
Nah, I don't think I'm quite involved with this yet.
Ulysses Rook has been seated patiently, quietly, and in relative stillness, waiting for the hubbub and bustle to settle down as the meeting goes underway. The Rook family crest is easily visible at the top of the chair. It's an atom, except the tines of the atom branch and snake off in many intricate patterns indicative of the neural pathways in the human brain. His fingers are steepled together in front of him, and he calmly surveys the passing conversations until things are directed over to him. Today, he is wearing a dark plum peacoat that has a popped undercollar, perhaps thematically similar to what Keaton is wearing, although I'm sure not quite as extravagant. A light charcoal shirt with his forearms bare, as always. He has a translucent yellow-orange scarf draped over his shoulders and across the front of his clavicle, and he has matching laurels circling his head near his temples, which emit a soft glow that make the dark bags under his eyes all the more apparent. There's a slight puff to his eyelids, someone who is deeply fatigued. One iris dilates and contracts as he looks between them. Thank you for including us, Tex. May I ask you to be more direct about what exactly it is you intend to do in the immediate future?
What I intend to do is find out who is manufacturing these. It's no easy process. Whoever's doing this should be leaving some sort of footprint. And when we find it, my conversations with Claudius have led me to believe we can go straight to killing. We have full control over our monopoly, and it's not only within our rights, but it's our duty to protect our license. Whoever's doing this needs to be stopped, shot, and we can talk to them after about why they were doing it and how they figured out how to do this. It's unacceptable. Your sister is dead, Ulysses. I gotta claim some sort of responsibility for it. It's our duty to make sure this thing is kept under wraps. And I would appreciate if you and your wife would help us make that so. If even a little bit of this leaks out, any arbiter could freeze our funds or worse, potentially ban us from bidding in the next auction for a monopoly, which is coming up in about 6 months. So what I intend to do is decisive, aggressive action and to hold accountable with lethal force whoever is responsible for this. And I would like your help in doing that.
Ulysses listens, nods as he hears the bullet points of Tex's plan. Many of the steps you intend to take are reasonable, even expected, necessary, given everything that we've talked about, the circumstances being what they are. However, I've not yet heard a good reason or explanation or any indication of how you're going to make amends to my family for my sister's death, the head of my family who died.
How we're gonna make amends?
Excuse me.
We weren't talking to you.
Keaton grins. Nothing he likes in this world more than somebody who bites back.
I appreciate your spine, and I'm sorry if the situation is amusing to you. I don't enjoy the peacocking, the propriety necessary in these sorts of dealings. In fact, I've been forced into this position as my sister is dead. It was never my intention to be the head sitting here before you, and yet that responsibility falls to me. And it is a responsibility that I take very seriously, as I know you take yours. So please, do not mock me in this moment.
Keaton sits forward kind of on his elbows. Listen, I understand what you're going through. I lost my older brother too. I'm not making fun of you, but after this we're going to have a conversation. You, me, and he kind of looks over towards his cousin Dorian. And Dorian, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a conversation. And I think it's going to help put some context into this. But for now, I'll just say in front of this entire room, saint on us. I'm going to help you, I got no other option than to help you, because it helps us. But don't you start putting weight on us like we did something wrong here.
Bubba leans forward and kind of sticks out a hand to almost wave down Keaton.
I think what he means to say, and he should be saying, is, we're sorry for your loss.
He looks directly into Ulysses' eyes and then over at Vivian.
We truly are sorry for your loss. There's got to be something that we can kind of strike a deal on later, but maybe compensation can be talked about at a later date. Do we have the edict? Can I personally look at this edict?
Ulysses nods to Bubba and says, Thank you. He looks back to Keaton and says, I will be happy to have a conversation with you at a future time. And make no mistake, my intention is not to ask for some sort of monetary compensation. Look around you. Look at all your family members assembled here. How would you react if one of you died? If one of you was killed through negligence, through lack of duty? I don't think you would be out of your element or misunderstanding where I am coming from either.
As you say that, there's a spark of rage that hits behind Keaton's eyes. But he doesn't say anything. He sits back in his chair, kicks his feet back up, and crosses his arms.
Ulysses doesn't bite back either, but offers the barest cant of his head and leans back a bit. I am willing to work with you. I'm a man that believes in second chances. I believe all of you know who I am, something of my history. If intention is not apparent, I am willing to overlook certain circumstances. But as Tex has pointed out, there is fault, and there has been wrongdoing. So do not seek to shunt that responsibility to one side. The question now is a measure of my sister's intelligence and ability to get this fraudulent edict through your security versus your own employees' ability to smuggle it in for them. I suppose that's only one piece of the puzzle. To your earlier question, Bubba, I believe the bulk of the counterfeit gun was destroyed in the blast, but we were able to recover the core, or what's remaining of it.
Well, it's certainly worth taking a gander at, I suppose. I don't know what I'll be able to glean from it, but I'm certain that's probably the reason I'm here right now.
Not only that, but I think what is at stake here is our actual livelihood. We aren't a family that has multiple monopolies to fall back on. We just got the one. And if we mess this up, there ain't any coming back from it.
I quite understand, and it's not my intention to hold your feet to the fire, so to speak.
I do get your point, Mr. Rook, and I would be happy to discuss in a future date where we're not holding fucking, excuse my language,
Keaton grins.
15 people hostage here in this room. That's a conversation you and I can have, Ulysses, but I'm more than welcome to discuss that. I understand and appreciate your discretion in this matter.
You've had a down payment of 1 week of my discretion thus far. An additional conversation will not be postponed much longer. I don't say that as a threat, but a matter of fact. I have something in mind, but as you say, I don't wish to hold 15 people hostage.
Well, all right. Sounds like we just need to figure out who's turning the lights off strong enough to make an edict, and we blow that up, yeah? And then we're done?
What do you mean we?
It seems like we called in Bubba because he understands edicts. We called in you because you're doing the work.
Yeah, I'm the head of asset retention. What are you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm here. So obviously you guys wanted us here for something. Me and Jethro got to help somehow. So I guess we're going to blow up a power plant so they can't do it?
I mean, Jethro, I promised Jethro on his way back that he doesn't have to work for Crows. So if he's in, it's his own discretion, but...
Oh, great. Well, so then, Jethro, you just want to fuck off? We'll go see some sights in the town, and you can get back off?
I need a list of everyone who's worked in the edict creation process for the past year. I also need an invoice of all supplies, and a year's worth of inventory statements, and a list of missing persons from Trin City and the surrounding areas for the past year.
Kaz, can you hook that up?
Absolutely, Dad. I can get you all that. I think we should also take a real close look at the building security that failed and let them sneak the gun in too. Like tracking, the supply chain is really important, but also like our building security was compromised. So just saying, but yeah, I can do all that.
While he's saying that, Jethro just turns to Dorian and whispers, "Listen, Dorian, I could care less about the Crow Enterprise, but each edict is a soul inside. A dead person. And I really doubt they're going through the conventional means to obtain those souls."
Shit, I hadn't thought about that.
With any luck, we've already got the perpetrator downstairs.
Yeah.
I would like to hear more about that, actually. Vivian perks up for one of the first times in the conversation. She's just kind of been absorbing conversation like a flower, just photosynthesizing information, making sure she's making solid eye contact with everybody. But I think that bit of info makes her engage, finally.
Not much to say. Keaton came down to look for some counterfeit guns much like the one you found here. We found the perpetrator, we eliminated the facility, and we took the engineer prisoner. With any luck, it could be the same person who made the gun that blew up at that party.
Oh no, that's fascinating. That's not quite what I was asking, though. I want to know about souls.
I'm afraid that's a little bit confidential in the process in which the edicts are made.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is your headband tied on too tight?
Kaz snickers.
He smiles again. Listen, I'm gonna try to keep this professional, all right? It's none of your fucking concern how we make the edicts.
Keaton?
Language.
I'm sorry, did you put your sense of decorum in your fanny pack as well?
Oh. Kaz doesn't contain the laugh.
Tex slams his feet onto the ground.
We are well past this. They're on the inside now, Keaton.
All right, you know what? I tell you what. I've got a 37-page document that kind of explains how it goes in layman's terms. I'll send it over. Is that what we're doing? I'll send it. I'll send it to your personal device there, Vivian. Ulysses, you want it? Hey, he kind of like knocks on the glass and starts talking to one of the assistants that's on the other side who can't hear them and just says, hey, do you want to know how fucking edicts are made? Would you like to know that?
I can't hear you, asshole.
I was proving a point, Kaz. Will you just shut the fuck up
It's
and like
thick
let
glass.
the adults talk? Like the problem solvers? Like,
Jesus, fuck you. You know what? Nobody would have been able to bring the gun in if you had done your job in the first place. Really?
oh
This
my
is kind
God.
of your
How many
problem.
times do I have to explain this to you, you dumb sack of shit? I am not in control of security. Asset
I
retention
think
is not
that's
security.
Keaton, that is quite enough out of you. And Kaz, we'll talk about this later.
Keaton immediately shuts up.
He nods.
Just security's part of asset retention.
Kaz, enough of the backhanded remarks. We are all here to work together. Do you understand that? And I understand that there has been a loss and that recompense must be paid, but as things stand, your sister brought an illegal copy of a gun into our building, blew up an expensive lab, and we are being kind enough to help you figure out who did it. But fault does not lie entirely with us. You know just as well as I do, Vivian, that doesn't stand up in court, would it?
Keaton gestures like, thank you, but doesn't say anything.
Depends which judge is presiding.
Well, it'll be Felix. So Kaz throws his hands up in the air like, we got
I
this
know
one.
that one.
I fully understand that this is a difficult topic, and I would welcome us all to get along together. And if we can't, well, we'll have to figure out a way to, won't we? Because this isn't going to work, and we won't be a family anymore in 6 months. And you won't have a way to talk to your sister anymore in 6 months if we can't figure out a way to do it. Is that understood by everyone here?
That does bring us back to one other point that hasn't been underscored. The counterfeit edict, the core, when it went off, I was able to confirm that there is an afterlife, and there is at least one soul present. It does not appear to be a pleasant place. I initially had reason to believe that my sister might have been that sole inhabitant. However, it also appears that she, or part of her, or I don't even know how to quantify it, now resides in the body of her assistant, Tanya. And Ulysses is looking at Bubba as he says this, knowing that he is like the one person who might have insight. So he's just like hoping that Bubba will say or do something that will maybe indicate there is a glimmer or sliver of hope or possibility here.
Let me try and get this straight. So you had the edict at a gun range. She fired it, went off in her face, and we still have the core intact?
Yes, that is an accurate assessment.
Okay. And we believe that there is an inhabitant in this core.
Correct.
And you're hoping that it's your sister.
I don't know enough about edicts or the situation to hope for anything at this point. I can, I suppose, only hope that my sister is not as dead as we expect, but that seems unlikely. I don't know. That's why you're here. You're an expert. I know of your proficiency and your knowledge, and I hope that you will assist us in that matter.
Bubba lets out a long, drawn-out sigh and kind of runs his hands through his hair, trying to frame this in the most sensitive way possible.
Oh, I'm not going to go the Keaton route. Sorry, buddy, but I'm not going to be a dick about this. Edicts are pretty complicated, and unfortunately, we can't explain how they work just in a day. But they certainly don't work that way. The chances of that inhabitant being your sister is 0.
Well, your edicts function that way. What about these counterfeits that are being circulated through the markets?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Now, if I could see this edict that we're talking about, maybe this core, I might be able to offer a little bit more insight. Whether or not they can do that, we'll find out. But we're talking about some pretty advanced technology. I don't want to get your hopes up, is all I'm saying.
Ulysses' face is gaunt, but thins a bit more at the news, but he nods placidly. And is there any possibility that my sister exists in her assistant, or that part of her... He sort of pauses for a moment. I know how ridiculous this sounds, but do you have any knowledge of that? Is that possible?
Unlikely. Souls don't typically work that way.
He does finger quotes when it comes to souls.
Again, it's a very wibbly wobbly kind of situation, but souls generally don't just splash in other people like that, which I know sounds pretty crazy considering the whole nature of edicts, and you know.
So good. Vivian squints a little bit, leaning forward over her tiny glasses she has on today as he peters off towards the end there, like expecting there to be more with her mouth just open a little bit. And then nothing additional comes, and she just sort of leans back in her chair, straightens her shoulders.
Ulysses listens, and we see him clench his teeth and his lips purse, and he looks down with bowed head for a moment, offering several small nods, and then leans back in his chair, and there's probably just a faint glistening in his eyes. He continues to nod, but then says, "Thank you for your honesty."
Bubba just kind of nods.
But it could be new technology. Probably not, though.
Vivian settles one hand onto Ulysses' forearm, closest.
Back to the matter at hand. We are all on the same side here. We want to know who did this, who sold this, who manufactured this. And time is essential. If there is a fastest route, we need to take it. I don't need to explain to you boys that your lifestyles are on the line here, and my livelihoods as well as your uncle and every employee that works for us. I don't know about the technical side of it. I'm glad you had time to speak on that, Bubba, and we'll get you the core, and you can look into it further if you'd like. But I think first priority is to find this production facility. As soon as we have that, maybe we can understand if these things are different or who's making them. Maybe there is something else to them. I don't know. But we got to find out what that is first, and we got to find that out before news breaks about this. Someone's going to start squealing eventually, and we need to beat them to the punch. We need to have someone in our cuffs before anyone finds out about this. Understood?
Copy that.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Jethro?
Yeah, I guess some things never change.
Claudius, is there anything you'd like to add to the class?
I think it is important to remember that it's not only our family that's on the line, it's the future of the souls that have been entrusted to our care, and it's the potential future of all the other souls on this planet. I think the stakes cannot be overstated. I also think that it's important that you all understand what will happen if news of these edicts escape. If there's a theft, we can present a public face that we are aware of this and the problem is under control. We have a story to tell the courts in 6 months. If it appears that we've lost all control of our licenses and everything associated with them, we will have no chance. They need to be recovered. They need to be brought back, and we need someone or something to pin this on if it becomes public. In an ideal world, it never does.
Well, worst case scenario, we can use the facility that Jethro and I just destroyed. It happened close enough to around the same time. If things do go wrong, we can use that as a scapegoat while we try to fix this thing. But, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Jethro's got the right idea. We need to get as much information about our own facilities, our own people as we can. If we're going to find anybody doing this shit, it's coming from the inside. So, I don't know, old man. Maybe you start working on the scapegoat angle, pinning it all on Mad Dog. I'll write you up a report. In fact, I think we've got one of his edicts. Maybe we can have a peek at that. It might be the same thing. Who knows? But Jethro and I will take lead on the investigation. Bubba will start looking into these counterfeits. Kaz will shut the fuck up, and we might get something done.
That's an oversimplification. Did you get any good footage of the facility?
I have some from, I gotta figure out a name for this fucking thing that I wear on my wrist.
There's a knock on the glass bubble that surrounds your meeting table. Kaz, you turn around to a woman holding a chair and waving at you.
She made it.
Right on time.
A sharp inhale of breath. He just motions for her to set it down.
She sits down in it.
He leans into Claudius. I am so sorry.
Priorities. Kaz.
You're right. Do we have good footage? He goes back to Keaton.
I have some. I haven't reviewed it yet. We've been on the road, but
okay.
Who knows?
I have some videographers who could look at it, and if not, we can send out a crew and record more.
Great.
We can do like an expose, you know, kind of like a documentary
I don't think
style.
we need any press on this yet. Okay.
Just trying to,
Ulysses,
think outside the box.
Jesus Christ.
Ulysses, Vivian, we will meet after this. Claudius, you take them, go talk to Catalina. You boys, find out who the heck Doza is and where he got a hold of guns. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Keaton, Jethro, take lead. Thank you very much.
All right. And before we break up, you, he points to Dorian, and then Ulysses, we need to have a chat. And then he starts walking towards the bubble or whatever button he has to press to lift the bubble.
Always a pleasure.
The assistants are just like waiting to press the button on the outside when they sense it's over. So yeah, it happens for you.
Somebody got fired for pressing that button a little too early last time. Their whole family got fired.
A brand new creation partner.
Thank you for listening to Sounds Like Crow's Terminus. If you liked what we do here, please make sure to like and review. That's the best way to help support this show for free. And if you're feeling a bit generous with coin, you can join our Patreon for access to our Discord and be in the ranks of folks such as Greg Gray, Ariel Weiss, Jared, Kirby, and Jeremy Dunlap, along with James Wright, Ethan Cooper, Ataziel, and Sam Witch. Casted this week is the entire cast. I'm Caleb Sunstead. You can find me on Twitter at Marshall Caleb. Cameron Reed, who played Keaton Crow, can be found on Twitter at CJReed211. Big thanks to him for handling a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Much love, my friend. My brother Isaac can be found on Twitter at Abel the Crow. He, of course, played the illustrious Kaz Crow. Doug and Allie Nesbitt played Ulysses and Vivian Rook, respectively, and you can find them on Twitter at UCTheHat or on their show at RPG for You and Me on Twitter, rpgforyouandme.com, or RPG for You and Me, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you think this show is highly produced, you should listen to some of their later seasons because sheesh. Is that dated yet? Jethro Crow was played by Alex Horrell, you can find on Twitter at Alex Horrell. Bubba Crow was played by Cameron Day, who you can find on our Discord server. And Marshall Sims played Dorian Crow, and you can find him on Twitter at Mr. Malicious1. Claudius Crow was played by Austin Holt, who you can find on our Discord server. Music on the show was done by William Ecker at musicdirecker.bandcamp.com, where the theme for Terminus is currently available for purchase. Other music was provided by myself, thanks to our executive producer, Alexandria Majan. If you want to get in contact with us, you can email us at soundslikecrows@gmail.com or tweet at us at Sounds of Crows. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the credits on this chonker of an episode, and we'll see you next Monday.